Thank you for downloading this RealAgriculture podcast. Excite your crops with inputs from Excite Bio. Access nitrogen and phosphorus with Excite Bio's lineup of inoculants and ag biologicals. Since 2010, they've been helping farmers harness the power of the soil. Learn more at excitebio.ca. That's XITEBIO.ca.
Shaun Haney here with RealAgriculture.com and Real Ag Radio, World Radio 147, Sirius XM, and we're at Commodity Classic, and we're at the agmarket.net booth here in Houston, Texas. Right now I'm joined by Tyler Schau. Hey, Tyler, how are you doing?
Doing really good.
Okay. I was joking with you before we started. You're going to tell me that the wheat and canola market are going to lead this commodity complex to the upside, baby. Here we go. It's like a rocket ship because we have a bit of a space theme here. Yeah. Well, there is some rocket ship images around. Is that the case?
We have a problem, Houston?
Yeah.
That might be the good response. Russia is just going to be your enemy if you're a wheat farmer. Russia's just they had massive crop the last 2 years. They're working on, I think, their fourth record crop. They really have no problems right now to speak of, major problems with the winter wheat that's in the ground. They're selling it on fire sale to help finance a war campaign. And, they gave the farmer a gift 2 years ago. Not that was necessarily a great thing that happened, but that did send wheat prices screaming higher. But they're just coming in, and I think last I saw they're down to $215 a ton in the export market, FOB out of the Black Sea, which is severely under where we're at.
And with quality, or talk about what some of the products are that are coming out of there.
It's 12.5% protein, so it's lower quality wheat than what we're producing here. But we had a massive hard red spring wheat crop, high quality out of North Dakota, and I know Canada dealt with some drought issues. Still kind of looking at some drought issues that we've got going on up there. But when you have that big of a quality crop come out of North Dakota, South Dakota, and the United States, there isn't that huge demand for higher quality protein wheat to really pull this thing much higher right at the moment.
If you're growing canola, you're probably pairing it in the rotation there with if you're growing wheat in the rotation, you probably, in some of the geographies we're talking about, you probably have some canola in the rotation too. What sense do you make of the canola market?
It's been a tough market to really grasp. I think last couple times I've talked to you, we've talked to you about the importance canola is going to play in this renewable diesel program. We're starting to get some of those plants kicked off. It's starting to, maybe we got the cart ahead of the horse in the analyst game, expecting these big crush numbers coming out of these plants. The bottom line, though, again, huge canola crop in North Dakota last year. Yeah. I mean, look no further than the sunflower market. I don't know how close attention you pay to that, but, they can't hardly give sunflowers away right now, and that's because farmers in North and South Dakota grew 3,000-pound sunflowers with ease last year and just oversupplied the short-term market and have really just kind of wreaked havoc. I think eventually these renewable plants are going to pick steam up. They're going to start running. They're going to start operating better, and some of that demand will pick up. The other thing to throw in there is China is really kind of hurting that vegetable oil market. They're bringing vegetable oil over. To qualify for those tax credits, it's got to be either used vegetable oil, and so they're sending some palm oil over, throwing a French fry in it, claiming that it's been used. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, but they're flooding that market with that, quote, used vegetable oil, which has been tough on the soybean oil market.
Some are speculating that in Western Canada we're going to see about a 10% drop, maybe, on the canola acre. What's expected in North Dakota?
I've been hearing about that 5 to 10%, just talking to some of the seed dealers in the area, Western North Dakota. One of the things I will throw out, one thing that might be a decent spot for spring wheat is the fact that in that eastern North Dakota area, you've got Green Bison, which is a soy crush facility in Spiritwood, North Dakota. They've been struggling getting running and operating at full capacity. Just talked to the North Dakota Soybean Council rep yesterday. He told me that they think they've pretty well got all the problems ironed out. They're going to be running pretty full bore here pretty soon. The new one that's going to open up in Castleton, they expect that one to kick off this summer. Should have all the kinks worked out of it by harvest time. So one of the things that we're seeing is a lot of farmers in eastern North Dakota looking to switch out acres from canola and spring wheat and go to soybeans in that area because there's going to be a huge pull for soybeans. that might help pull some acres out of that number. And so instead of seeing, that 11 to 12 million acres of spring wheat in the U.S., we might be able to pull a million off of that just out of North Dakota alone.
In North Dakota, when you look at some of the penciling out the profit margins of each of the crops, how does soybeans fit in comparison to corn?
Soybeans are, better than corn. We'll start off with that. There is a small profit. You can still pencil out a profit with $11 soybeans. So that's going to be helpful. Corn does not look good. It's just hard to switch it anyway. But as Matt was kind of alluding to earlier, the market doesn't owe a producer a profit. And I know a lot of times we wish it does or wish it would. We hope it will. But just remember that sometimes, as I heard him mention, you might not like selling it here, but how do you like selling it 50 cents lower? How do you like selling spring wheat $1 lower?
There was a while, though, there where canola was kind of, even when the rest of the market was in the red, canola, you look on the screen, canola was in the green, right? What's it going to take? You mentioned renewable diesel, but that's a little bit more of a long-term play. But what's it going to take for us to stabilize this canola number? Because we continue to hear from farmers in our audience, I don't know, it doesn't pencil for me.
Short term, like right now, the trade focuses a lot of attention on the managed money position on corn and soybeans and wheat. Not a lot of people pay attention to the canola numbers. That's a record short by the funds in the canola market. I think it's like 150,000 net short contracts, huge record short. Same story in corn. If we get something that spooks those fund managers into exiting their short positions, you would think they would, especially with this. When the bulk of your crop is grown in North Dakota and Canada and it's been prone to drought the last few years, that might get some of them to get spooked, exit those short positions. That could cause a decent little short-term rally. Gives the producer an opportunity to get caught up on old crop sales. Also gives the producer an opportunity to catch up on new crop. The one thing I would caution, same with the corn market, is there's still a lot of bushels out there that need to be priced. And farmers are going to be itching to pull the trigger. So farmers selling, hedge pressure is going to kind of probably, I won't say stop a rally, but temper rallies. I wouldn't be looking for $700 canola on the board. But if we could pick up $30 to $40 a ton on that, gives a guy 21 cents a pound, that'd probably be pretty good.
At some point, we got a bin space issue, do we not?
Yes, in western North Dakota, we've got a lot of bins full right now. Yep. I've got guys telling me they got bags they got to pick up. I've got guys trying to figure out what to do with the bags, if they're going to build more bins to take the crop out of the bag. I really don't recommend that, But there's a lot of crop. We had the weather was awesome last year. It was great for me personally. We got some cows. We put up some hay. But, it's created, I don't want to say a good problem to have, but it's created a problem where we've got a lot of bushels and not necessarily the infrastructure to handle it all.
I was hearing earlier from somebody from North Dakota, they think the moisture situation is pretty decent and we're expecting an early spring in North Dakota.
Well, right now, before I came down here on Monday, I was wearing a T-shirt putting hay out, and then I drove an hour and a half to the airport in a blizzard the very next morning. But
that's North Dakota for you.
Yeah, welcome to North Dakota. Right now it looks good for most of the state. There's some pockets that are dry, but where I'm at, which is kind of western North Dakota, we're never more than 2 weeks away from a drought. Yeah. And, we could use some snow. We could dang sure use some rain this spring. But if the longer-term forecasts hold, it's going to be an early spring.
Tyler, thanks a lot for joining us here today for our discussion. Always enjoy it, and enjoy the rest of the Commodity Classic.
Thanks. Good to see you, Shaun.